If you have heard of the New York drag scene of the 1980s and 90s, then you must be interested in the captivating history of the clubs that made RuPaul a star. These old photographs reflect a period of past history that was filled with glamour, creativity, and a sense of freedom. It was a time when drag was not popular, and straight society looked at it as perverted. But within the underground clubs of New York City, a revolution was taking place. In those halcyon, pre-Giuliani years, the police were too busy dealing with crime to be concerned with the clubs. This created a hedonistic, wild atmosphere where drag performers could thrive without interference. Linda Simpson, a writer, drag performer, and photographer, captured this pivotal scene with her camera. Simpson's photographs documented the crossover between ballroom and voguing culture, pop art, and the vibrant world of the club kids in the 90s. The clubs in the East Village, such as the Pyramid and Danceteria, were the breeding grounds for creativity and self-expression. It was in these clubs that legendary performers like RuPaul, Delight, and Antony and the Johnsons emerged. These individuals became their own characters, focusing less on celebrity impersonation and more on becoming unique and creative personas. But it wasn't an easy journey for these drag performers. Drag was scorned and looked down upon by the mainstream society. However, things began to change in the mid-90s when drag started to flourish in pop culture. RuPaul had a hit record, and the drag road movie, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, became a box office success. Slowly, drag started to become a part of the mainstream, with shows like Drag Race and Pose bringing it to a wider audience. The clubs of the 80s and 90s were not just places to party and perform, they were places to experiment and push boundaries. The music was house, the atmosphere was upbeat, and the drug of choice was ecstasy, a feel-good drug that added to the overall energy of the scene. These clubs provided a haven for drag performers, allowing them to express themselves freely without fear of judgment or persecution. Linda Simpson's photographs captured the essence of this era. She documented drag performers in clubs, on the streets, and on gay pride parade floats, creating a time capsule of a time when drag queens were the jesters and goddesses of the underground. These photographs serve as a reminder of the rich history and legacy of the New York drag scene. Today, drag has become more mainstream, offering performers more opportunities to make a living. While this is a positive development, it has also meant that drag has lost some of its subversive nature. What was once a risky endeavor has become a path to stable employment. However, the spirit of those early years still lives on in the memories and photographs captured by Linda Simpson and others. As we journey through these old photographs, let's savor the history and reminisce about that era. The most exciting part is still ahead, so let's immerse ourselves in the images and remember the clubs, the performers, and the sense of freedom that defined the New York drag scene of the 80s and 90s.